Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the Grammostola genus. The most common one that's available in the hobby is the Grammostola rosea. So everyone knows that one. That's the Chilean rose. There's a problem with those species because I really wouldn't recommend them to a beginner. I would recommend them as an intermediate spider. People buy them because they're cheap and they're readily available. But some of them have... There's a lot of rose hairs that can be very, very temperamental. As you saw in my tea biting video. Whereas my Psycho Rosea actually bit the paintbrush quite a few times. So if anyone knows what a rose hair looks like, I'll show it to you. I have a second specimen, a 16-year-old adult female. Here's my little Psycho one. So that's what a rose hair looks like. So why don't I recommend them to be a great handling spider? So here's where my opinion on Grammostola rosea comes into effect. Well, they have mood swings. I have to guarantee you they will have mood swings. They have their good days and they have their bad days. So, and they're very unpredictable, like pokies. They can be sedate 1 minute, they can be really calm, and then all of a sudden, bang, aggressive. So that's why I wouldn't recommend them as great handling tarantulas. And also, they have this nasty tendency to fast. So that's a period where they'll stop eating for a couple of months. So it's very alarming for a new tarantula owner to see that what's happening with it. Why I'm throwing crickets in the cage and it's not eating. Why is it doing that? It's doing that for like 6 months. Help me, please. That's what they are. That's the nature of the rose hair. So this is why I don't really recommend them as great tarantulas. I really recommend the ones that are very good eaters. So you can know right away it's in the pre-molt when it stops eating, it hides a lot, there's a big black bald spot, and what's the fourth one? I forgot. See, it's not eating, has a big bald spot, and oh yes, and you can see it's has a bit of aggression. Okay, third Grammostola that I own. I only have 2 of them. I'm not going to show you the first, my older one. Well, maybe I will, because I'm a nice guy. So here's my 16-year-old female. It's kind of dark. I always like to leave tarantulas in the dark because I find they're a bit more active this way. Okay, Grammostola pulchra. A lot of requests about the Grammostola pulchra as great beginners. I think it was 318MX asked me why the pulchra was such a popular tarantula. Well, just because it's pure blackness. It's one of the most blackest black tarantulas I've ever seen, and they're very friendly. This is why it's in high demand, and it's very rare to find. There's a lot of people that own them in South America, but since Brazil and Chile don't like to import their tarantulas across the border, it's kind of hard to actually find some nice pulchras. So this is my pulchra, 6.5-inch female, nearly 7 inches. And you can see she is black. I mean, black as night. That's why I called her Ebony. Handling, kinda iffy because they have large fangs. I kid you not. They're almost as big as my Goliath bird eater. So they're like about 1 inch long. So you really want to be careful if you ever got bitten by that species because they can do mechanical damage just by their fangs alone rather than the venom. Even though they have weak venom, they can still do a lot of damage with their large fangs. Then the next one I have is a Chaco Goldeni, Grammostola aura striata. So I'll show you my slings. I'll show you one of them. They're pretty much similar. These guys are gentle giants. They reach about 8 inches. They're possibly one of the largest tarantulas that you can actually safely handle without any big problems. So this is what a Grammostola aurostriata looks like, the Choco Goldeny. I have a little cutie specimen. She's going to get up to about 8 inches long, so I would say it's about as big as my hand. Some of them are quite friendly, but they can also have bad mood swings. So what I would do before, again, I stress this, if you want to handle your tarantula, test it with a paintbrush. Use always the soft end to touch the abdomen. Just gently nudge it. If it turns around, faces the paintbrush, and tries to attack it, doesn't want to be handled. If it just walks away very calmly, then it's okay to be handled. And if you touch it and it just runs away, I wouldn't suggest you handling that, because it's skittish, and then you run the risk of your tarantula falling. So that's about it for Grammostola. So next one will be Eupalestris, which is Eupalestris camstratus, which is the pink zebra beauty. Very, very handleable tarantula. Mine's a bit skittish. Then again, she's only a juvie. I have a juvenile female. Very, very handleable tarantula. I've heard a lot of reports saying that these guys are really docile, and they are. Once you get it to calm down, they're actually really nice. Okay, so here's my specimen. I'll get her out so you actually can see her. Come on, sweetie. Okay, see what I mean by skittish? So that's the sign of a skittish tarantula. So here she is, juvenile female. Once they age, they'll start to calm down. Usually, juvies to spiderlings are kinda bit on the nervous side, but they'll tone down once they get older. So that's about it for recommendations of terrestrial tarantulas. So now if you want to go for arboreals, these are the tree spiders. So there's only one genus that I recommend. It's the Pinctos, Aviculare vicularia. So I have a Aviculare versicolor Pincto. So no, she's right there. I'll just open. That's hard. Yeah, she's there. So this is what I recommend as a great arboreal setup for Pinctos. You can keep it in a 5-gallon tank. I took a 5-gallon tank, flip it on its side, add a plexiglass so that the substrate doesn't fall. So I put about 2 inches of vermiculite, which is a plant additive. I added a cave for the security of the spider. So let's say if it feels spooked, it'll go down and hide itself. I added little vines and fake leaves. They're pretty suitable. Versicolors, they're okay to handle. They're a bit more skittish than the Aviculare vicularius, but they're quite handleable. They're really recommended for a beginner. Just be forewarned that the versicolor slings need a bit more higher humidity than the adults, because Aviculare vicularis and the Aviculare species are kind of susceptible to dehydration if the proper humidity is not given. So the last 3 I'll show you are my Aviculare vicularias. So I have a mature male, a female, and a sling. So this is what a mature male looks like. So he has tibial hooks on the first pair of legs. Yeah, it's kind of dark. And here he is, long-legged tarantula. So at the pet store, you want to try to avoid the spiders that are long-legged, have hooks. I don't know if you can see the hooks. Come on, baby. I want you to get here. I don't know if you actually can see the hooks on the first pair of legs, right Yeah, it's hard to see. And you have to check for bulbous pedipalps, which are the feelers. The feelers are like the 2 little legs. They give it like 10 legs. So you can actually see the hooks on it. So you want to try to avoid getting any males, because male tarantulas are not really desired for a keeper because they don't live very long. Depending on the species, males could live anywhere between 2 or 6 years if properly cared for. Females actually live quite a longer time, maybe to 3 to 5 times longer. So I'll give you an example, like the Mexican red knee that I showed. If it was a male, it will probably live around 4 to 6 years. If you have a female, they could live up to 25 to 30 years. So in general, males are much more smaller bodied and longer legged than the females. Females, like I showed my pulchra, they're kind of chunky, like really fat abdomens, really large bodied, and that's a sign of a female, and females live a lot longer than males. Males are just used for breeding purposes only, so that's why a lot of tea keepers always opt for females, and that's why female tarantulas are more expensive than the males, because of that reason. So I have a second one, then I'll get to my third one. I hope this is a female. I haven't sexed it yet. This is Mona. I hope it is. So this pretty much, you can keep a juvie tea. Just make sure you have a lot of climbing space, because it's very important. And a little sling. This is a female sling. A Vicellaria, very, very handleable. I'll demonstrate it. So as I showed you how I handle tarantulas, I generally scoop it up. Let's press on the T, and here we go. Very handleable tarantula. Awesome. Recommended. Very, very docile, very cute, very sweet-tempered, very unlikely to bite. And also, what I love about a Vicellaria is that they have quite a disgusting defense mechanism. They'll actually shoot poop at you if you actually get too close to them. If they're really angry, they'll aim their abdomens, and they're like a poop cannon, and they'll actually hit you with good accuracy. And also, what they do is they can flick hairs. The Vicellaria have urticating hairs, but the only way to come into contact with them is if you try to handle one. They'll just rub their hairs off their abdomen, and that's how they flick their hairs. Like my Brachy did, took her hind leg and scratched her abdomen. This one will actually take the hind leg and it'll just rub it off the hairs. So, that's my video about docile tea recommendations. I hope I informed you on how to get your first tea, and if you get it, congratulations. Awesome, cool. So I hope you can overcome your spiders by owning a tarantula, and just prepare for a big addiction, yeah, because the tarantula hobby is very, very addicting. So, see you guys.